That's
Why
what I,
you moved?
because this is the better here.
You're so mean now.
Good evening, everyone, to our April Central Goldfields Shire Council meeting. Please be upstanding for our acknowledgement of country and our council address. I would like to start the meeting by acknowledging and extending my appreciation for the Dja Dja Wurrung people, the traditional owners of the land we're standing on today. Today, we pay our respects to leaders and elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, traditions, the culture and the hopes of all Dja Dja Wurrung people. The Council Prayer. Almighty God, we ask you to be present in this council, direct and guide our deliberations. We ask you to grant us wisdom and sensitivity as we deal with the business of Central Goldfields Shire. May each decision that we make advance the well-being of all our residents. This we pray. Amen. Welcome gallery and welcome virtual gallery. We will start our meeting. We have an apology. So Councillor Meadows Taylor is unwell and we wish him a speedy recovery. If you're listening, Councillor Meadows Taylor, all the best. We have no leave of absence. And councillors, do we have any conflict of interest, please? If not, we'll move on to item 5, the confirmation of minutes from the previous council meeting, which was the draft minutes of the council meeting dated the 26th of March 2024. Councillors, do I have someone to move that? Councillor Lavella, a seconder. Councillor Sproul, all those in favour? Against? The motion is carried. There's no minutes of delegated and advisory committees and no petitions, so I'll move straight on to item 8, which is our officers' reports. And the first item on page 21 of our agenda is item 8.1, the quarterly finance report from March 2024. Councillors, do I have someone to move that? Councillor Murphy, your motion is?
The council receives and notes the attached finance report for the period of 31st of March 2004.
Thank you very much. And a seconder? Councillor Sproul, thank you very much.
Point of order, 2020.
Oh, 24.
Notice.
20 years in the past. 2024. Thank you, Councillor Sproul.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, this is I speak on this because I enjoy this type of thing, and what we have to realise is that things like the income statement for the period ending the 31st of March, it shows a $0.44 million, $1.5 million deficit. This is a $4.8 million variance on budget. But it should be noted that since the previous finance report in December, there has been unexpected costs associated with both the February storm event and the March bushfire event at both and surrounding areas. Whilst the fire didn't reach the Central Goldfields Shire boundary, the emergency relief centre was set up at Princes Park for probably about 2 and a bit weeks. The costs associated with these events are being worked through for reimbursement from the state government eventually. So we've also got operating grant income of 7.7 million as compared to a budget of 4.2 million, 9 million, the variance of 2.7 million. So in general, the finances are well on the road. I'm pretty happy where they're going to be in June, July, end of June. And I recommend that the people in the gallery and the virtual gallery have a read of this report. You can get it online and go through all the individual situations. And we've been tracking them really good for a while now. And I would say that the last 4 or 5 years have been really good. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Sproul, would you like to speak to the motion?
Nothing further to add.
Nothing further to add. Any other councillor like to speak to this motion? If not, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? The motion is carried. Next, we have item 8.2, page 33 of the agenda, which is the Central Goldfields Shire Council draft budget for 2024 to 2025. Councillors, do I have somebody to move that? Councillor Lovett, your motion is?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that Council 1 receives and notes the attached draft budget for Central Goldfields Shire Council for the 24-25 financial year. 2, notes an operating surplus of 3.3 million and capital works program of 13.7 million, of which 2.9 million is considered carry forward projects. 3, in accordance with the Local Government Act 2020 and Central Goldfields Shire engagement policy, make the draft budget available for public comment, or display the proposed budget on the Shire's website, and 5, receive comments and submissions on the proposed budget until close of business on 24 May 2024. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lovett. Councillor, do I have a second for the motion? Councillor Lavella. Councillor Lovett, would you like to speak to this motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Central Goldfields Shire Council has prepared this budget for the 24-25 financial year. The budget is financially responsible and focuses on the implementation of the Council Plan 2021-2025. The 24-25 budget should be read in conjunction with the financial sustainability strategy. The budget includes a rate increase of 2.75% in line with the state government's fair go rate system, rate cap. Council has not applied to the state government for a rate cap variation and will continue to manage council services as efficiently as possible within the rate cap. Council's waste charges have been increased by 4.4% in 24-25 for standard waste charges and varying increases for non-standard waste charges. This is to ensure that the full cost of council's whole waste management function continues to be fully funded by waste charges. The budget includes a capital works program of 13.7 million, 2.9 million of which is considered carryover projects. Of the 13.7 capital works program, council has been successful in attracting grants to fund 7.5 million of these, with borrowings of 1 million anticipated to be taken as part of council's funded works. I encourage all ratepayers to read this draft budget and to make comment prior to the endorsement of the 24-25 budget. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lovett. Councillor Lavella, would you like to speak to the motion?
Well, just to add to what Councillor Lovett said, this is a very responsible budget, given it's the 2.75 increase in 2.5% rate capping, given last year it was around 3.5%. So we're getting less money now to do more with. And it's very difficult for the community to understand this at times. It is budget. And as we do in our homes, we have to budget in accordance with what we do earn. The budget includes, as I said, a 2.75 increase, and Councillor Lovett mentioned waste charges. Well, we don't have a lot of jurisdiction over the waste charges because they are outsourced, and that's by government to deliver our waste. So unfortunately, the contractors put up their waste, but we don't have any say in how much that waste goes up. So all in all, I'm very pleased with what we've done thus far with the budget. And this, as we said, will go out for community consultation very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lavella. Any other councillor would like to speak to the draft budget? Councillor Lavella.
I concur with Councillor Lovett, and what the public don't see is that it's very, very tight. It's very hard to do things. And we do as much as we can, and we've got the grants for the roads and the grants for this and the grants for that. And then we have to put some money in ourselves to do this and do that. But at the end of the day, you can't do everything. You just can't do everything. We're tight, we can't do everything. And those who go, oh, the council can do this, oh, the council can come and do this, why can't they do that? I think the education of the public is important on these sort of issues, that we can't do everything. And we do as what we can do for the community in a holistic approach to it. But there's just not enough to go around, especially rate capping, but especially this time when there won't be money coming from Spring Street, coming from the state government, because they will be trying to keep the money from the COVID situation, and there won't be a lot of money coming out of this, so we have to work really hard to make sure we can get good things happening for the Shire over this next budget and into the new council in November, the new council group, with a responsible budget for the new council group. This is important. This is an important thing to say. A responsible budget for the new council group in November for their next 6 months. So that's what this is. Make no margin on it, that's what this is. So we have to be responsible that way too, as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy, well said. Anyone else like to comment on the budget? If not, put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion is carried. Thank you. Next up, we have the financial sustainability strategy on page 104 of our agenda. Would somebody like to move that? Councillor Sproul, your motion is?
Mayor, I'd like to move the recommendation that Council 1 endorse the draft financial sustainability strategy for community feedback. 2, make the draft financial sustainability strategy available for community feedback on Council's Engage website and through the annual budget community engagement process. 3, submit the financial sustainability strategy to the House of Representatives Standing Committee on Regional Development, Infrastructure and Transport inquiry into local government sustainability. And 4, consider the financial sustainability strategy for adoption at the June ordinary council meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Sproul. Councillor, do I have a seconder? Councillor Murphy, thank you. Councillor Sproul, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor. It's been mentioned many times before, but financial sustainability of councils all over are a real issue, particularly for the small rural shires. Whilst rates remain the primary revenue source, challenges in rate capping and waste charges and waste charge regulations, have been impact revenue streams and have had significant impact on council's ability to fulfil its expected obligations. Service reviews and strategic planning are crucial to help ensure financial sustainability. Council officers have been actively working with peak bodies such as FinPro and Rural Councils Victoria on advocacy around issues that are impacting on our financial sustainability. As the recommendation states, the council will submit the draft financial sustainability strategy to the House of Representatives. The transport inquiry, which with submissions closing on the 3rd of May 2024. The strategic initiatives to optimise revenue and manage costs are outlined, including supplementary rates, waste charge recovery and grant optimisation efforts, and strategies to reduce costs through effective leave management, contract management and service reviews are recommended. While Central Goldfields Shire Council faces significant financial sustainability challenges, proactive strategies and prudent financial management offer avenues for improvement. By addressing revenue constraints, managing costs effectively and prioritising service planning, we can navigate the current landscape and enhance our long-term financial viability. The plan gives readers some great graphs and diagrams which help highlight concerns. Hopefully, the community can understand better the situation council is in. CPI to rate cap is one such graph, and as well as the diagram which shows erosion of funding for various services, that these provide excellent visual documentation for public. The challenges will need to be carefully thought through and implementation over a period of time, but ultimately we need greater support from higher tiers of government and a reduction in cost shifting exercise.
Thank you, Councillor Sproul. Well said. Councillor Murphy, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, I'm fine.
Thank you. Any other councillors? Councillor Lovett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As stated, this is a financial sustainability strategy. And as my fellow councillors have already pointed out, the reality is our income is tightening and our expenditure is growing. It's my considered opinion that in the very near future, council will need to seriously consider a submission to state government for a rate cap variation. Because if we don't get one, our services will need to be cut back, and nobody wants to see that happen. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Lovett. Any other councillors like to speak to the motion? No, if not, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? The motion is carried. Next on the agenda, we have the reviewed community engagement policy and memorials policy on page 135 of our agenda. Councillors, do I have a motion? Councillor Sproul.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move the motion that one, council endorse the updated community engagement policy, and two, endorse the memorials policy for community feedback.
Thank you, Councillor Sproul. Councillor, do I have a seconder? Councillor de Villiers. Councillor Sproul.
Thank you, Mayor. The community engagement policy was initially endorsed by council at the start of our council term and is required to be reviewed within 4 years as per the Local Government Act 2020. There has been minimal changes such as the acknowledgement or legislative references. Given these minor changes, the document is not going out for public comment. The memorials policy, however, which covers plaques, memorials, cremated remains and roadside memorials, whilst has been subjected to the same minimal changes in regards to acknowledgement and legislative changes, was last updated in 2011. Given that significant time period since it was reviewed, this report will go for community feedback.
Thank you, Councillor Sproul. Councillor de Villiers, would you like to speak to this motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Nothing to add.
Nothing further to add. Any other councillors would like to speak to this motion? If not, put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? The motion is carried. Next on our agenda is item 8.5, Play Our Way Fund on page 160 of the agenda. Councillors, do I have someone to move that motion?
Also,
Councillor Liddell.
thank you.
Your motion is?
Motion is, as to the recommendation, the council support an application to the federal government's Play Our Way Fund, which is POWF as an acronym, for $2 million for the Delidio Recreation Reserve Pavilion project, and approves a co-contribution up to $500,000 through the future borrowings for a successful application as part of the 24-25 annual budget.
Thank you, Councillor Lavella. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Councillor de Villiers. Councillor Lavella, would you like to speak to your motion?
Well, the federal government is providing $200 million through the Play Our Way Fund program, which will run over 3 years from 24-25 to 26-27. The program will provide funding for local solutions and improvements to address participation in barriers faced by women and girls. And I hope we get a load of this because, as we all know, our Delidio Reserve is one of our major priorities on our priority list. An application is an opportunity for council to have 2 live applications for external funding to see the Delidio Recreation Reserve Pavilion project realised, and that's something I know the Mayor has been for a long time aiming for. The funding strategy requires an accepting appetite for risk from council, which aligns with the draft risk appetite statement for high risk projects and property and assets. If successful, council in receiving the funding, council will be able to deliver a brand new sporting pavilion in Denali, which is inclusive and meets contemporary standards. Officers are recommending that council support the application as do I, to the POW web and commits $500,000 in future borrowings in the 24-25 annual budget as a project contribution. So that's all I had for this one. Thank you, and I think this is a fund that we desperately need with the Lydia Reserve. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Valley. Councillor De Villiers.
Thank you, Mayor. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to give the Lydia Pavilion upgraded. I think it's way overdue. And I think if this is upgraded, there will be a lot of new players presenting at the club. And that is the hope. Because the buildings as it is at the moment is completely inadequate and not quite fit for use. So I fully support this application.
Thank you, councillor De Villiers. Would any other councillors like to speak to this motion? No, if not, I'll just say a few quick words. I don't usually, but this motion is absolute music to my ears. I have been advocating for a very long time for the Lydia to get this up and running. So fingers crossed with hopefully now 2 live funding applications in the works. Even if we get one, but if we get both, that will just be absolutely magnificent for the community. So I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? The motion is carried. We'll move on to item 8.6, which is on page 165, and this is appointment of substitute representative to the MAV State Council. We have 2 representatives, Councillor Anna De Villiers and substitute Councillor Lavella, but they're both unable to go, so it's to have a substitute for that, which would be the Mayor. Councillor, do I have a motion? Councillor Lovett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move that council appoint Mayor Councillor Elizabeth Long as council substitute representative for the Municipal Association of Victoria to attend the MAV State meeting on the 17th of May 2024.
Thank you, Councillor Lovett. Councillors, do I have a seconder? Councillor Lavella. Councillor Lovett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you've already stated, this is purely a procedural motion due to specific circumstances. Both our representatives can't attend on that meeting, so it's important that we are represented for Central Goldfields Shire, and therefore you're the nomination.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Councillor De Villiers. Sorry, Lovett.
Lavella, sorry. Nothing to add.
Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to speak to that motion?
No, I don't know what you're going to call me, so
Thank you. I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? The motion is carried. Our next item is item 8.7. It's another procedural one. Appointment of proxy representative to Central Victorian Greenhouse Alliance for the 24-25 year. And this is on page 167. Councillors, do I have someone to move this? Councillor Sprout?
Thank you, Mayor. I move the recommendation that council appoint the CEO as council's proxy representative for the Central Victorian Greenhouse Alliance Board of Directors for the 2024 to 2025 financial year.
Thank you for that. Councillor Lovett. Sorry, do I have a seconder? Councillor Lovett. Councillor Sprout.
Thank you, Mayor. Given we're in a local government election year, the current council will go into caretaker mode at some point. This means there will be a period in between the existing council and the new council where there are no organisational representatives or board members for the organisations we're members of. Currently, I am a board member of the CBGA, and as per the CBGA governance rules, any board position must be filled by someone at director level or above. So the appointing of the CEO to this position in the absence of a councillor means that the lines of communication will remain open and that the CBGA can meet the obligations of their organisation.
Thank you, Councillor Sprout. Councillor Lovett, would you like to speak to the
Nothing to
motion?
add, Madam Mayor.
Anyone else like to speak to this motion? No, if not, I'll put that to the vote as well. All those in favour? Against? The motion is carried. That concludes our officers' reports. We've now got council reports and general business. I have an item for general business, and that is that our General Manager for Infrastructure, Assets and Planning, Mr. Irving, will be leaving us. Tomorrow, I believe, is his last day. He's been with council for 2 years and he's moved into a position at Hobson's Bay. Mr. Irving, I've really enjoyed working with you. I found you very professional and prompt, and whoever replaces you will have huge shoes to fill. So on behalf of all the councillors, I would like to wish you all the best in your future endeavours, and thank you for your commitment to the fire. Councillors, would anyone else like to speak to this general business? Councillor Vella.
Yes, well, I would say that you're in the right place going to Hobson's Bay. I know we're talking about you, the third person, and you're in the room, but you have been amazing. Your response time to the community and or indeed the council has been exceptional. So I wish you all the luck, and I can see you sitting in the big chair one day.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak? Councillor Murphy?
Well, Matthew, 2 years. Right now, we've got it right now. Parking is right. I must admit, I've hounded you, I've rang you, say those cars are there, this is happening, that's happening. I think every week since last November, we started the actual trial, then we started it. And if one thing I can say when I finish up, that we've got parking back on track, parking officers back on track, and it's working well. And the CBD and Clarendon Street and the post office, you really can get a park there, and you can, and people understand that it's 15 minutes at the post office, it's an hour there or 2 hours there. The other thing that's good for my heart, Matthew, is that we're putting you're putting some disability car parking in certain areas, which has come up, and the gentleman in the gallery would love to know about that, and that's all started to happen today. So, Matt, I just think that you've been a great help. You'll go for a drive, you'll ring back, you will do those extra bit of yards, which is really, really good, and I appreciate you, but I appreciate the talking about the cricket too, which we won't do anymore. So thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Villiers?
Just want to add, thank you. Met with Mr. Irving this morning to tidy up a few loose ends. I really appreciate that. We met this morning tidying up a few loose ends. You are not leaving things undone. There are a few things in my world that's not stressing, but I'm sure your replacement will be qualified to step into your shoes. But we will miss you. Thank you so much for all you've done for us. And good luck.
Thank you, Councillor Villiers. Anyone else want to speak? Yeah, Councillor Lott.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Not everybody's unanimous. The reintroduction of parking fines has not met with universal appeal. As a close member of my family can attest. So, just a little, Matthew, it's been a pleasure to work with you. You've been a breath of fresh air. Your word has been your bond, and we've all benefited from it, and the community will be poorer by your leaving, but all the best for future endeavours. And I agree most wholeheartedly with Councillor Lavella. All the best.
Councillor Lott. Anyone else? Councillor Stroud, last one.
No more, no.
Thank you and good luck.
Mr. Irving, would you like to respond? No, you don't have to.
No.
All right.
Thank you very much for your well wishes, and wish you all the best. Central Goldfields is a great place, and well positioned with the staff and the councillors that we have in the organisation.
Is there any other general business? No, if not, there's no notice of motion. So on to 11, urgent business. No, then we'll go on to number 12, confidential business. Councillor Lover.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move that council go in camera, as I have an item of confidential business I wish to discuss.
Yes. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
I'll say second that.
Councillor Lavella. Sorry, I'm just getting some clarification if this needs to be debated. That's right. Yeah. So it needs to be moved as urgent business first because the confidential business is not on the agenda. Councillor Lovett, would you like to change it to urgent business? No? Yes?
That's fine.
Okay. Somebody want to second that urgent business? Councillor Lavella? All those in favour? Yep. Carried. All those against? Oh, that's carried. Thank you. So now we go to in camera. Yep. So I need a motion to go into camera.
Don't we have to sort of, give the request?
I'll pass the, like to go in camera
Yes.
to discuss councillor Lovett's urgent business.
Yep.
And I'll second that.
Yep, Lavella. All right, I will vote on that. All those in favour? Against? The motion is carried. As we now have a confidential business item, I will not close the meeting, but will request that the gallery and the virtual gallery leave us and all staff except for Mr. Smith, who is our General Manager Corporate Performance.